Last Sunday on State of Texas, we showed you the fallout from a record-breaking number of teachers resigning. Now a search for solutions. On Thursday, the state's Teacher Vacancy Task Force met. They're considering steps to keep educators from leaving the classroom. Investigator Kelly Wiley looks closer at the process and the next steps.
Record vacancies, substitutes tasked with starting classes. Those are the realities of the new school year. Highland Park ISD math teacher Jean Streepy is one of 24 educators on the task force commissioned by Governor Greg Abbott to recruit and retain more people like her. It's met 3 times, and members are now focusing on 4 issues: teacher preparation, talent pipelines, the teacher experience, and compensation.
The rate of inflation and compared to the rise in salaries, and our teachers deserve to be able to pay their mortgages and feed their families and enjoy their time. They can't go home every night with a pile of schoolwork to do when they have their own families at home.
Our KXAN investigation analyzed thousands of exit forms from teachers who quit this last school year and throughout the pandemic. We found teachers echoing the same sentiments. They couldn't afford their surging rents and mortgages and were overwhelmed by unsustainable workloads.
Our next step, and we got partway there this time, is to then figure out who can make that change.
And once they target those change makers, another question:
are they brave enough to make those changes for us?
And Investigator Kelly Wiley joins us now. So when this task force was first created, there was kind of a big deal over how few actual teachers were on the task force. That has changed since then, but how much influence do these teachers actually have?
Well, a lot of that remains to be seen, but what I will say is that there's a teacher who's the chair of this task force. So when they brought them on, they were really giving those teachers leadership positions. They definitely have the ear of lawmakers. They have the ear of the TEA. We spoke to one teacher out of Highland Park ISD who also sits on the State Board of Educator Certification, and she said you'd be surprised by how much weight lawmakers and those in decision-making roles give to these recommendations when they're made.
And speaking of the lawmakers, where do we go from here? What are the next steps? When do these ideas get before lawmakers?
Well, we just found out that lawmakers, specifically the House Public Education Committee, has invited Josue Torres, who is a Dallas ISD teacher and is the chair of this task force, to actually come and speak next month, which is a big deal. This will be the first time that they're hearing how this task force is coming along. They've already started to make some recommendations in this last meeting, so this is a big deal that they're going before them.
And you've been following all of this since the formation of this task force. Do you think they're making any progress?
They are. They've been doing a lot of listening the last 2 meetings, right? They've been hearing about the teacher experience. They've been hearing data about teacher retention and how many teachers are leaving in the middle of the school year or leaving in general. And so this meeting was the first time they were broken up into their working groups where they're actually starting to find focus, talking about compensation, talking about educator preparation, and they're starting to craft what these recommendations will be to lawmakers, to districts, and to the state board.
And you will be keeping an eye on it for us. Investigator Kelly Wiley, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, 3 months after the deadly mass shooting at Robb Elementary, we are learning new details about security efforts within Uvalde CISD. In the district's own progress reports, as of Tuesday, new cameras have been installed, but only at the high school. Upgraded locks at 3 of the campuses of the 8 have been installed, and new fencing at 6 of the 8 campuses in the district have been installed. Ken Trump is a national school safety and preparedness expert. He says while physical security measures do serve a purpose, the first line of defense, he says, has to be training.
The number one way we find out about weapons plots and kids who are going to cause self-harm is from kids who come forward and tell an adult that they have a relationship with.
And some lawmakers say the focus should now turn to whose jobs are on the chopping block within the police department, county sheriff's office, and the state police who were there on the scene. And on Wednesday, the Uvalde School Board voted unanimously to fire School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo. Before making that decision, the board heard from many in the community, including victims, families, and survivors.
My name is Jaden Canizales, and I am a survivor at room 112. I want to change. Enough is enough, and we need to change the gun laws to 23 so people that are young, they will not have to buy a gun.
I am here today to make a statement. If a law enforcement's job is to protect and serve, why didn't they protect and serve my friends and teachers on May 24th?
An investigative report criticized Arredondo for failing to take charge of the scene and not moving quickly to stop the shooting. Before the meeting, he released a 17-page letter to the board. His attorney said Arredondo was being made a scapegoat and asked that he be reinstated with back pay. Arredondo did not attend the meeting, saying that he didn't feel that it would be safe.
A little bit angry, mainly just frustrated.
The state is holding more than $6 billion, and some of it could be yours. But one Texas family says it's not that easy to get it back. Our investigators look into the holdup.